Welcome to part 1 of lesson 34. We're looking at comparing fractions by comparing common numerators, pages 15 and 16. Alright, so we're looking at our content objective for 4th grade NF, numbers, operations, fractions, A2. I can recognize that comparisons of fractions are valid only when the two fractions refer to the same whole. If you remember this, we want the same size and shape. I can compare fractions using symbols and justify the comparisons by using models. Language objective, I can use vocabulary related to fractions to communicate how to compare fractions. Social objective, I can work with others to create models to prove the comparisons of fractions. So we have two vocabulary words, like numerators. Each whole has the same number of equal parts remaining, has the same number above the line. Like denominators, each whole has been divided into the same number of equal parts, has the same number below the line. So here we have the same amount of pieces shaded in. Here we have the same amount of pieces cut up. So today we're looking at like numerators, also called common. Like and common are synonyms in this case. So like numerators or common numerators. Alright, here we're looking at 2/3 compared to 2/5. 2 out of 3, 2 out of 5. Well, because thirds, those pieces are much larger. There's only 3 pieces, where this has to be cut into 5 pieces. These 2/3 are greater than these 2/5. So the larger the denominator, the smaller each piece is going to be. Here we have 1, 2, 4/12, very small pieces. Here we have 4/6, much larger pieces. So these 4/12 is a smaller area than these 4/6. 4/12 is less than 4/6 because those 12ths are much smaller pieces than those 6. Here we have 7/10 compared to 7/11. I know you can't see the fraction on there, but this is 7/10 and this is 7/11. This is a larger area than this one because these are cut up into smaller pieces. Larger pieces than these. There's fewer pieces, so they can cover more of an area. So 7/10 is greater than 7/11. Here, 1/3, that unit fraction, is greater than 1/8, that unit fraction, because these pieces, these 3 pieces, are much larger than these 8 pieces. The more pieces you cut it up into, the smaller the pieces are going to be. So 1/3 is greater than 1/8. Here we have 6/7 almost filled in, almost 1 whole, and 6/12, which is exactly half of this one. So this 6/7, because these pieces are much larger, is greater than 6/12. 3/6 is half of that rectangle, and 3/4 almost filled in. So these 3 pieces, since these 6 are smaller than these 4ths, these 3, this area is less than this area. Hopefully you're starting to see a pattern here, that when the denominator is greater and then they have the same numerator, that denominator that's greater is going to have smaller pieces, so it's going to be less of the area shaded in. Here we have 2/5 and 2/6. I know it's hard to see the fraction, but this is 2/5 and this is 2/6. The 2/5, those two pieces are larger than these two pieces, so 2/5 is greater than 2/6. Here we have 1, 2, 3/5 and 3/6. Because these fifths, these pieces are larger than these three pieces, 3/5 is greater than 3/6. The more you have to cut it up, the smaller each piece is going to be. Here we have 5/6. It's almost the whole line filled in, just one more piece. Where here 5/9 still has 4 pieces to fill in. Because these pieces are larger, these 5 are greater than these 5. Two sevenths and 2/12. Well, these two pieces, these are much larger, so these 2/7 are greater than these 2/12. Here we have 5/9 and 5/8. Well, these 5/9, because those pieces are smaller, that area, those 5 pieces are less than these 5 pieces. Here we have 2/5. I know the fractions are hard to see on these. And 2/4. Well, because these are smaller pieces, these two pieces put together are smaller than these two pieces. So 2/5 is less than 2/4. Notice that none of these were equivalent. The only way to get equivalent fractions with the same numerator, a like numerator, is if the denominator is the same also. So today we're only looking at greater than or less than, no equal to. All right, let's go ahead and do some more practice with your 3-column notes.